the church as the big family and the family as the little church. And I'm sure many of you would say that speaks of your experience too. Certainly mine. When I think of growing up in the Cape Breton, Greenwood United Church was very much part of my life. And mission band right through to YPU. Recently, let me say, I think of the sitting in church sitting beside my father and sisters, seeing my mother in the choir, and feeling just surrounded by friends and neighbors. And I was telling somebody recently that, excuse me, I was probably, 5 or 6, unable to read, frustrated that I couldn't sing the words of the hymns. And then one Sunday, I thought I heard some familiar words. And it was that all other ground is sinking sand. And when that came, I belted out. All Mother Brown is sleeping sound. And the nice part of that, nobody shushed me up or laughed at me. I'm not sure that I continued to sing it, but I was dancing. But when I also think of the family as the little church, in recent years I've gone back in history to my great-great-grandfather, who came from the Isle of Lewis and came to Cape Breton, settled and as a caster. How's your Gaelic? A caster, or caster, I'm not quite sure how to say it, was like a lay teacher, or, well, he was really a catechist, teaching catechism and scripture, and also gave a lot of leadership in organizing the church in his community. And his descendants, for 3 generations or so, produced clergy every generation. So that's part of my family background, as well as the nuclear family in which I grew up. Well, I was given a short time to speak tonight, and I'm not going to say anything very much. But when looking over there at some of those pictures and recalling a number of experiences and places, and I was doing some of that recalling the last while, there was one memory that popped up in my mind that I thought was particularly relevant to this group. It was the mid-1960s. The ferment in society was being reflected in the church. There were, for one thing, the United Church began to lose membership the first time since Union, 25. But many clergy were departing from ministry, and there was the deaconess order asking for what was the place of deaconesses in the church, and we had one first graduate of Covenant College, Don Reed. Some of you may know him, and he, of course, he was the director of this institution for many years. Well, along with all the ferment with clergy, there was also what about the place of, commission workers. And so the Commission on Ministry was set up, Commission on Ministry in the 20th century. That doesn't talk about history. And there were, I don't know, over 20 of us gathered, I think, for about 2 years, and dealt with a lot of what seemed to be major problems at that time. And I remember, some of you would know Jack Patterson from Calgary, Reverend Jack Patterson. Is he still living?
No.
No, I thought he died. Well, he riveted the attention of our discussion around ministry. What is that extra squirt of spiritual juice that you get at ordination? Well, that commission never did answer that question. But towards the latter part of the work of the commission, the place of deaconesses, I think, was and churchmen. What was it? Certified churchmen. Yeah. That was a lot of attention given to that, and subcommittee worked on it. And I remember Al Reynolds, who then was the minister in Fredericton. He reported from that group, and I felt Al was one of those who really gave strong leadership there. And the recommendation, I couldn't get the exact wording, by the way, from the archives. Anyhow, there were some complications there. At any rate, the recommendation was that the deaconess, members of the deaconess order and the certified churchmen would be included in the order of ministry. And that seems ordinary to us now, but that was a major decision at that time. That recommendation went on to General Council in 1968, and it was accepted immediately. And then about 10 years later, I think it was General Council meeting in Calgary. 1976, the one when the decision was made that all members of the order of ministry would receive be on the same salary scale. And Mark Fulton of BC gave a lot of leadership in that. Well, think of all the struggles and issues that you've continued with over the years. But that's just a bit of a glimpse of my experience way back in the 60s and 70s. I'm going to stop there. If I gave you a whole history of those many years, it would take a long time. And again, my thanks for this. And I trust we all have a real happy Kaylee tonight.